Good morning. Guess what day it is? It is Friday. I'm Katie Sevenance. Welcome to Business by Design Online. We are your entrepreneurial hub for everything about business for women in business. Whether you have a business that you've been running for a few years and you just need a little extra kick to get it going to the next level, or maybe you're thinking about starting a new business, we are the place for you. We have a whole bunch of online courses, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, we share tips from amazing, successful business women out there that have experienced all kinds of things that they want to share their tips with you. Today is extra special because my guest is also one of my very close friends and the CEO of Business by Design Online. But even more than that, my guest today has also, she's had her business for 5 years and had to do all kinds of different things this year, just like a lot of us. And we're going to talk a little bit about that word that no one wants to say called pivoting. Stay tuned. I want to welcome my guest, Phoenix Sagan. Yay. All right. So Phoenix, am I right? Was it 4 years that you've had your My Travel Forever?
2016, I started my agency. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is like really fun because we are really good friends. And Phoenix and Joy and I started this business together in January with a little different focus when it first started, right? And we've pivoted and changed. And we're so excited about the business that we have now. But Phoenix, tell us a little bit about your background and your when you started with My Travel Forever, because you have been a businesswoman, like your mind, you have done so many amazing things. And I know we've touched on them a few times over the years, but tell us a little bit about what lights you up every morning.
Well, I love to travel. And I guess one of the things that has been a lifelong journey for me is figuring out how I could get paid to travel. Because that's what I love to do. That's my passion. And so I've actually done a lot of pivoting in trying different things because in the world of a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, there's so many things that I could do. So what do I want to do? One of the things that I was looking at when I was a teenager and going to college was, do I want like a tourism hospitality degree? And I'm looking at all the details. I had to spend a certain amount of time working in a hotel, sitting behind a desk. And I'm like, that's not the kind of travel that I want to do. I don't want to be sitting at a reservation desk behind, at a hotel.
Yeah.
I looked in the cruise industry. There wasn't positions available at that time. So I was just kind of checking some things out. So even just within the journey of the travel space for me, I've done a lot of pivoting to really hone down and niche what I love to do. And this year has been like a big shakeup, as you know.
Well, because you've been traveling since you were really tiny. And I love that you knew your whole focus was like, I want to travel and I want to get paid to travel. And I love that because, I started in the cruise business when I was 19 and I worked there for 20 years. And I love travel as well. And that's probably part of what brought us together is like, I was so envious because I had stopped traveling and you were like traveling all the places I wanted to be. So,
I usually travel about 4 to 6 months out of the year, depending upon the year and the things that are going on. And this is the longest I've been home since I was a teenager, like the longest stretch that I've been home. I am so antsy to get out.
Gosh. And I know it because I see it in you. And we get to the gym and you're like, I'm going to pretend I'm in Hawaii or no. That's funny. I love it. That's so awesome. So, okay. So you started your travel business. What made you decide, okay, that's it. I just have to start my own travel business?
Well, like I mentioned, I did a lot of things in the industry. I was with World Ventures for a while, so I did the MLM direct sales version. I worked for travel agencies. I did all the commercial travel for the city of Dallas for a couple of years. So there's a lot of things that I've done in the industry. And one of the things for me that's really important is I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I guess I just don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah, we can call it entrepreneur or
It's like, I like to do things my way. So
that.
to do that, I had to have my own business. So instead of building somebody else's business, I wanted to build my own business. And there's a whole lot of education around when you start a business, like what's your why and all that kind of jazz. And my why has remained the same. I want time and money, which sometimes it's hard to have both depending upon what you're doing. Like corporate, you have the money, but you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
And other things, you have a lot of time, but you might not have a lot of money. So it's like trying to figure out that place in between. And so starting my own business just kind of seemed like the right thing for me so that I could do things, take all the things that I love and bring it all together to do something that really worked the way that I wanted it to work for my lifestyle and my family. And, my husband loves to travel as well. So we really do have a lot of fun. And it is just an ingrained passion and I just love it. And I love sharing the world with my friends. And so many people are scared to travel and I don't want them to be scared. So I work with a lot of solopreneurs and women who want to travel safely around the world and, things like that. I just absolutely love. So this year has been a challenge because my business basically shut down. I
And
mean,
you had a huge business. Like you had people going to some amazing destinations and yeah, like shut down.
yes. And it's interesting because although my business shut down, I still had to work. And what I mean by that is, when they furloughed everybody in the travel industry, because you can't ask a company to give back all the money, refund everything, and then not have any future revenue coming in, right? So they furloughed half their staff. And so every supplier is working on a skeleton crew, yet you have 1,000 times more people calling in and everybody wanting their money back. So I would spend, it could be 5 to 15 hours a day on hold. And I joke about it, but I'm very serious. Like if I hear One Love by Bob Marley, like I get this because over and over, 6 hours, the same song on a loop. Oh my gosh, wasn't there some kind of like psychotic, trial about listening to the same song over and over and
Oh
over?
my gosh.
Um, but I had to figure out a way to pivot in my business. And I've been really using this gift of time to do that. And so I've had to pivot, like had to pivot. And I know that a lot of people out there have had to pivot. And so I wanted to kind of take
Yeah.
all the things that I've learned and put it into one course, we have a workbook, we have a course, we have a bunch of stuff that helps people kind of figure out what kinds of pivots are good for you. Do you even need to pivot in the first place? What does it mean?
Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about that because I mean, we've been using that term. A lot of people are using that term. But somebody like, what does that really mean? Like when we talk about pivoting, it could be, yes, I was selling travel. Now I'm having to find a different way of doing it. But it can mean a lot of things. And I think people are like, oh, I don't want to hear that word. I don't want to think about the pandemic. I don't want to. But let's talk a little bit about pivoting because pivoting is a great thing. It can be a really good thing and open a lot of doors, which is how, I mean,
That's
it's
how
changed my life, right? Yeah. Yeah.
like you say pivot and everybody's like, ooh, and I'm like, no, like I think it's a really good thing. Sometimes you need a little bit of a shakeup. And I know that there's some people who are watching this that are going, yeah, like 2020 has been like the year of really high highs and really low lows and lots of things kind of happening. But basically, pivoting just means a change of some kind, either one way or a different direction. And in business, that's just what it means. Now, you could have small pivots to big pivots. And so let me give some examples, Katie, because that
Okay.
might
Yeah.
work. So for me, in the travel space, when everything shut down, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do right now? So I took some time to think about it, and something happened where I saw a post on social media that I was like, ooh, that's not really appropriate right now for the times what it was. And I thought to myself, you know what? People schedule posts and social media out for weeks at a time. So I said, I need to go look at the posts that I have on social media and revamp that so that, especially because of the travel industry is kind of a huge topic of discussion right now during COVID. family travel, not travel. Other people are antsy. Everybody wants to kind of go do something. So I said, how can I make a shift now that's relatively small, but still a pivot? Because I am the international girl. I do all things outside the United States. So a small pivot that I did immediately, and like an immediate action that I could take, was I created what's called Staycation Mania.
That was
And
so
I
fun.
said, okay, so how can I serve my community and my peeps in the same space, but doing something that's home? Well, what's a home vacation? It's a staycation. So what are the things we can do at home? We're all in lockdown. So what are some cool things that we can do? We can play games. We can have a tea party. We can build forts, especially for those that have lots of little kids. And so I just created all these posts that I put out about things that people can do from home. And I had such a great response. I grew my community by over 200 organic likes in like 10 days.
That's awesome. I mean, that's huge. Like, really, stop right there. That's huge in a travel industry with no travel.
Yeah, shut down. I made a small little pivot.
Yeah.
It was something immediate that I could take action on, and it had a really big impact in my business. So I was like, okay, I had so many people reach out to me like, oh my gosh, Phoenix, that was such a great idea. We totally got out like the chalk and drew like a maze on the driveway, and the kids are doing this and that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, there was just lots of things that made sense. We had a dance party, we had a costume, like we did all kinds of stuff. But it was something that I could do immediate right away. So sometimes pivots don't have to necessarily be big. It's not always, oh my gosh, I need to shift and do something completely different.
Right.
Although sometimes it is. But it can be something small that can be hugely impactful in your business. So, kind of having this, I don't know where to go or what to do. There's a lot of different ideas. And we've got some things for you guys that we're going to tell you at the end, some free you.
Special, yes. You know what I would love is as you're coming on and you're watching this, whether you're watching the replay or you're joining us live, which thank you for those of you who are able to be here live, let us know, like, have you pivoted? And if so, since March, what have you done? Little pivots, big pivots. Give us some ideas of things that you've done, because of course, this platform is all about helping other women with our tips. And that's a great thing that it, like Phoenix said, it doesn't have to be a huge pivot. It doesn't mean, oh my gosh, close my business and start a new one. It might, but what are some ideas of some little things that you've done just to shift it? And like you said, that was, you took a travel business, you realized that you couldn't post the same things that you had scheduled out, and you had to do something more immediate so that it was relevant. And I loved what you did. And I know Jen's on here and she's like the dance party, all that stuff. I mean, things have changed. We all know how to use Zoom now. Most of us didn't know how to use Zoom before. So yeah, it's awesome. I love that.
Well, so those are some examples of a small pivot. So I want to talk about some of the bigger ones for a moment. So I own a travel agency, and still travel is questionable. There's a lot of things, I'm talking about travel and things for 2021 and 2022. And so this has been a year that I've called the gift of time. There are so many things that I've wanted to do, and I've just been so busy. And one of those things has been that I've been teaching travel agents in the industry how to have a successful business, retreat leaders how to do a successful retreat, and different things like that for years. And I've always wanted to put it together into like course content. So when we kind of started, that was some of this discussions about like if we worked together and we did some things, what that would look like. And then it really took on a life of its own, because we realized that between the three of us, the amount of business knowledge that we had in basic business skills was so huge that we could share with the world. And so then it became Business by Design Online. So we created Business by Design Online before the shutdown, before COVID was really a thing. I mean, at the time it was kind of like a China thing, right? Like, oh, they have something going on over there. And then it became like a world thing, like in March. But we had started this way before. And really what we talked about is how can we serve our community and the women that we know and love with the information that and experiences that we've had. And so this year has been a huge gift because if my agency was in full bloom, I would not have had the
Right.
time to work with you guys as tightly as we have to create Business by Design Online anyway. So, we're starting off with, a lot of basic business skills. Like you've done some incredible courses. I'm going to plug just a little bit, Katie, working from home, designated work area, working with distractions. I mean, this is stuff that as entrepreneurs that work from home, we've dealt with. And we sometimes forget that there's so many people who are now working from home. They don't
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's happening." I mean, my husband was talking about, he's on meetings with engineers and he goes, "You hear screaming kids and all kinds of stuff in the background." So how do you really successfully and effectively work from home? So we have a lot of stuff that's like basic
Can't
business,
wait. Yeah.
that we're gonna be getting out into the hands of all of you fantastic followers and Um, but really it's been amazing. So that's been a big shift. So I still have my travel agency, and that's a love of mine that's not gonna go away. I'll have it forever. I mean, retirement, I don't even know what that means. Like, I'll just be
Exactly.
um, and then eventually, once we get, a lot of these basic business skills, I will pivot slightly in what we do because then I'm gonna start focusing on more of the travel related courses. So
Mhm.
since now we have the platform and everything ready to go, it's what I've wanted to do for a long time and could have done, but it would have taken me 3 or 4 or more years to do it, right? And we got this done in a year.
I
Or
know.
less than a
Well,
year.
yeah. It's pretty amazing, and I think one of the things as we were like really discussing how to start our business was how many people have started a business and don't know the basics. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know the first steps in setting up what I have to have tax information in, or I have to, like we were a little blown away. I remember sitting there and taking a course, the three of us taking a course together. And we're like, oh my gosh, how did these people run a business? Because they don't understand the basic parts too. So that's when our light bulbs were going off and we're like, oh my gosh, we have so much information and the people we surround ourselves with are so brilliant, right? That's what we wanted to really highlight and bring that out. So um, we're excited because we do have some great courses coming. I know the first one that we're really focusing on right now is all on pivoting. And Phoenix, what kind of things will people learn from this course that you have that will be launching? Oh, we haven't told everyone that yet, right?
Oh, we're launching it. Surprise! Um, really, we're going to start at the beginning. And here's one of the things that I want to say about this. And we like to do things in bite sized chunks. We recognize that not everybody has time to do a 6 month, 12-month, high dollar amount course when really they may only need like this one little piece. So, we've made our stuff like bite-sized pieces, which I think is great. Really priced out really well and all that kind of jazz. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're just going to start at the start, Katie. We're going to define it. What's a small pivot? What's a medium pivot? What's a major pivot, a complete 180? What are some examples of what that's like in each of those areas? So one of the things that someone said to me the other day was, okay, so I know that I probably need to pivot, but I don't really know what that means and what I need to do about it. And
Yeah,
well, that just sums it up right there.
right.
So we have first, I talk about more in depth my story. I talk about, the fact that I've pivoted a lot. And one of the things that I think about pivoting is that we've done it for a long time. And if you just think about people in general, let's say 100 years ago, if you were born at that time, you pretty much worked the farm or you worked whatever your parents did, kind of a thing, right? Like there wasn't a whole lot of options. Just over the last, let's say, handful of decades, all the different things that we can do in this world, it's really sometimes hard to pick. Like, well, what do I really want to do with my life? Or what do I really want to do when I have all these opportunities? You got to try some things, right? Well, trying different things are also different types of pivots. So as I go through the process of explaining what a pivot is and the different areas, I give examples on if it's something new. Hey, have you thought about this or that? If you have these types of businesses, these are some examples. So there's tons of examples, ideas and thoughts, worksheets on how to brainstorm what's really going to work for you, and then how to take that information and make it action items. So by the time that you're done, you walk away with, okay, I went from having a general idea that I probably need to pivot to brainstorming, writing down a lot of things that I know that could work for me, and then picking a few and honing in on it. And that's really key, putting it into action, and
Yeah.
not everything. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
So it's like picking a few things and then collecting the data on seeing that if it's working and all that kind of stuff. So walk you through the whole process.
Yeah. That's one of my issues is I'll like brainstorm all these things and then think I got to do them all. And I don't even start. So I love that. It's like, okay, let's pick something. Let's take action on it. And then let's do the next step. Let's evaluate it and see what's working and what's not working. And I love how we've kind of changed these courses. Like you said, instead of these big, huge things, okay, I've got a half an hour. I'm going to go watch and do and work myself through what I need to do for my business, because there's a lot of people, honestly, there are a lot of people who've had a successful business for years, and it was easy to just go, okay, well, it's just slowing down for a bit, but hey, we have to learn how to change our business for the future, because we can't just float for like we have been. It's like, no, we need to find a way to work our business in with the current situation. And there are different things we can do. And you've been so creative in the types of ideas that you're suggesting in the course, and just in how to look at things from a different perspective. Sometimes we're in it so deep that we can't see these other possibilities. I know you helped me with mine a lot.
Well, and there's a lot of different ideas and things that you can do. And it's not to say that doing more than one thing at a time is a bad thing. And there might be like the social media example. Maybe you do a social media shakeup and you start, creating some templates and doing some things. And, so maybe it's something like that. And then you incorporate, a medium type pivot, or, maybe there's some bigger things that happen. So there are multiple things that you can do at the same time. Where I see people that have trouble is when they try to do everything at the same time. And then it's like, you don't really know what's working or not working. So, the workbook really walks you through, and the course really takes you through a step-by-step process of figuring out what's going to be kind of the best, direction to go, and then how to really maximize that. And then you can reuse that information and go through it again every time, and just use the worksheets and get through and be like, okay, does this make sense, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about it. And I really hope that this is going to be super beneficial for people that, are in business. And I think one of the things that was really important for us is we took time, you and me and Joy, we really took time to sit down and think about our friends in our community. A lot of us are entrepreneurs, or they're leaving in, a corporate job and starting a new business or new things. So, but a lot of us, our time is valuable. And I don't know about you, but right now I don't really have the time to go back and get like a full on degree in anything, or something that takes like, so long. There's a lot of time commitment and everything. And it's not to say that those things aren't good. I've done Unstuck with Julie Miller Davis, and I've had coaches and mentors, always something like that. What I'm talking about is individual little skills. It's really nice that it's bite-sized chunks, half hour, maybe a couple hours worth of material. And it really takes you down one path, like, here you go, let's figure this out.
Right.
Instead of having it to be like, lots of time and money commitment, but
Right.
really kind of focusing on those little things.
Yeah. And I like that what we're doing is in one location, you'll be able to find courses on lots of different topics. So you, like you said, you can bundle a bunch together, or you can kind of fine tune. Okay, I really just need this to work on this month. And then maybe next month you might want to add something else. So the way we've designed the company itself, I think, is really awesome. So you're not searching around like, okay, who teaches social media? Who teaches this? There is a course coming soon on, I know. If you get on, I don't keep secrets very good doing. But like, okay, so how many times have you been on a Zoom call? We were talking, Jen Draper has posted a few things here. Zoom now has a mute button, which is awesome. They've realized we're all working from home, and I've had construction going on in my house for weeks. And I swear it'll be nice and quiet when I start. And then all of a sudden in a live video, like the doorbell rings, the dogs go running, it is chaos.
Life happens, right?
Yeah. But anyway, I'm teaching a course that I'm still putting all the details together on videoing, like how to have the best lighting, how to have the best angle so you don't see all your chin and up your nostrils, how to
Contour your makeup.
oh yeah, makeup tips too. Yes, so you look good on camera. Yeah. Lots of tips. We have so many fun things together. So anyway, networking. How to what?
Business can totally be fun. Like we have such a great time, and that's a huge part of it as well. Because if we're not having fun, I mean, life is short. So, and one of the things that's super crazy is we even make numbers kind of fun. I mean, for business, I know, like
I know it can happen.
we laugh and then we share, we do a little bit of crying, like all that kind of stuff. But it's really about, helping each other be successful and then having a good time.
Taking it out. Yeah. Yeah. So we're excited about what's to come. Okay. So we've got your pivoting course. It is ready. But if people just want a little taste and they're not even sure, like, well, pivoting, do I need to pivot? Do I need to make a big one or a little one, or some ideas? You've got your questions, right? You've got a list of like a questionnaire that they can do.
Yes, it's like a little assessment checklist. Do you even need to pivot at all? It's a free download. It's going to be, in the link. So go ahead and click the link in the box once this is,
I'll post it right now.
So you can click the link, free download, go through the little checklist and just kind of figure out, like, where are you right now in business and what kind of pivots may you need to be able to do in the future. So super quick and easy and a very powerful tool.
And I think that's key. And here's the link is right here. I've got it posted in the comments. We were talking about this can be a stressful time. I mean, whether COVID has affected everyone, right? One way or another. But we can make things fun. Business doesn't have to be all business, right? Like Joy said, we can have business and fun. And that's something that the three of us have been able to incorporate, master, whatever. And that's what we want to share with everyone that in our community, right? So like I said, as you watch this video, whether it's the replay that you're catching up on later, because we know people are working, or you're in here now, share your pivots, big or small. Share some ideas and things that you've done that have helped you become successful or helped you master kind of this time frame and get back on track and to make your business fun, right? That's what we want to do. We've got some great interviews lined up for November because our focus in November is all about knowing your numbers. And so we've got lots of different people coming on. Jen was asking, can you make fun in financials? We actually have a guest called Shelly. Her name is Shelly Campbell, and her business is The Wealthy Spirit. And I've heard her speak about 15 years ago. Her tagline is put the fun back in funds. So Jen, stay tuned for that one. That's going to be good. I love that one. She's got some great tips. So we're just excited about what we're bringing to you, to our community. And we want you to lock arms with each other and realize we're all stronger together. We're in this together. And the more we can lift each other, it just helps us all, right? Like share your tips, share your strategies, share your successes. You can even share your failures because we all learn from those, right? So I mean, we've all tried something that didn't work very good. We don't like to talk about it, but it helps each other learn. So now I teach my team, don't do that. I've been there, done it, don't do that. So,
and that's actually a good kind of thing to say, like, between the three of us, we have a lot of experience in business, entrepreneurship, building successful businesses. And that's one of the things that we want to help you kind of get through as well, is sharing those tips and tricks so, you can avoid some of the things that we did. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
all that.
That's actually how we started. One of the things we're like, oh my gosh, no, we can share. There's easier ways to get to this than anyway. Yes. So we're excited. So this course is ready now, but if you're not ready to jump on and learn about pivoting and how you can do it, we have the free checklist. So you can do that. Start with the checklist. Just see if this is even something you might want to consider. And like Phoenix said, it doesn't mean it's not like a new thing. People have been pivoting for years. We're growing, we're learning, we're experimenting, we're seeing what is really our hot button, right? So, all right, any last things you want to throw out there about your course that's coming? What they can be excited about?
I am super excited. So this is one of many to come. We have a really fantastic lineup. And I just want to say to my friends, stay warm because it's cold out.
Yeah,
So now's the perfect time to,
take a course, cuddle up with your cup of coffee, and
yep, I've got mine. Love you, coffee because dogs don't snooze.
oh my gosh, that's funny. I know. So just for those of you who don't live in Colorado, it's been like super nice, sunny, beautiful. We got a lot of wind, and then we woke up. I don't even know what it was, 16 degrees. It was ridiculously cold last night. So yeah. Anyway, we're excited. Thanks for joining us. Tune in on Fridays and Tuesdays. Tip Tuesdays, tips from the top. And we will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye, friends.